Hello everyone. So great Saturday so far. This is going to be a really vulnerable and authentic musing. And so I have a special and powerful request. If you are a client or a colleague or a friend and you often experience feelings of judgment when you see people cry or be authentic, I encourage and powerfully request that you don't watch this video because I am likely going to be emotional and I am going to get very vulnerable, and I'm going to share some things that those of us, well, there's my fruit bowl because I'm literally coming to you in this moment, because I'm just having one of those days, and I know for a fact that I have coached plenty of entrepreneurial friends through and spoken to so many friends who have gone through a very similar day at some point in their own entrepreneurial journey, but I'm just having one of those days. And I'll give you guys some background on what's been coming up for me today, and also, again, powerfully request that you don't watch this video should you not want to watch somebody become emotional or authentic and very vulnerable, because I'm going to be talking about us and our business and sharing some things that perhaps traditional business owners would not share, because I'm going to tell you I'm breaking through some massive fears and some massive insecurities right now around talking about this, because quite literally this morning, my best friend, I got a text from literally one of my best friends in the whole world that she got an accepted offer on a house. And of course I'm overjoyed, that is such exciting news, but she didn't call me first. And she wants my help and feedback and help now, and I totally get that, and I'm here for that. But I can't be involved in any aspect of the transaction. She's working with a different agent, and I'm going to explain in further detail, but basically it felt like a kick to the gut. And we've all been there in our entrepreneurial journey, right? Those of us who have started a business or have tried some venture or really wanted to achieve something in their life, and there's certain people who go for it and they're like, screw it, whatever happens, I'm gonna go for this, and that's what my intention is, and that's what my commitment is, and that's what John and I are committed to in real estate. No questions asked, we are going to make this happen. But on days like today, where I literally get the text that's asking for a recommendation for a home inspector, I literally felt like my soul was getting crushed. And I'm sharing that only because she feels terrible because she's my friend. I got to share how much it hurt me that she was calling, but basically her knowledge on the real estate industry and how it works. Long story short, she walked into a showing yesterday, fell in love with the house. The agent, being not a great agent, told her that she had to be represented by her if she wanted to get her offer accepted. They ended up writing an offer, and less than 12 hours later, I'm brought into the loop. The agent that's been working with them for 6 months, preparing them to get ready, they live in New Jersey, so we were going to do a referral with a local agent. And basically, in my experience, I thought that I was, top of mind. I thought I was there for them. I've been preparing them with connections that they've needed or answering questions that they've had. And for some reason, when it came time to writing in the offer, it just didn't register. And I totally get it. I've been in that moment myself where we're in the moment, we're oh my God, it's happening. You're excited. The listing agent's telling you literally need to write the offer with them, or, you may not have a chance at getting it. All of these things happening. I get it. And at the same time, we're literally talking one of my best friends in the whole world, and it has nothing to do with the money or the commission or the fact that that's part of it. Absolutely not. I don't want you guys to get the wrong the wrong understanding of what's happening. For 6 months now, I've just been so ridiculously excited to help my best friend with this process. Literally in her wedding envelope, I wrote house fund on the check because I've been stoked. So this morning when I get that phone call asking for my expertise and my recommendation, of course I'm here to give it, and I'm going to still be here every step of the way. But at this point, I'm nervous because they're unrepresented in the transaction. Basically, the listing agent wrote their offer. So the listing agent's representing the seller, not them. They are already have a lot of questions in regards to like who to use as a home inspector, who a good attorney is, and again, unrepresented because the listing agent's guiding them through this process. And 3, yes, I'm here for feedback and advice, but should they actually need anything through the transaction, I can't do anything about it. Now my hands are tied. So the intention of this video is to like share that like this shit happens. And I've literally answered dozens of phone calls for colleagues and friends and people that I coach who have this heartbreak at one time or another where like, you know, they're maybe offering a program or doing a coaching program and like their best friend in the entire world just enrolled in something totally different. And it's like soul crushing. Like your world shatters around you, not because you missed out on $500 or $1,000, truly because like you had the hope of playing a part and like being a part of something really special, and now it's no longer there. So that came up for me today, like really powerfully. And it happens for us all the time in this business. Like this is something that I constantly get to work on. The fact that this stuff happens to me and I get to fall in love with like every aspect of the journey, not just the days that are good, not just the days that are easy or normal or, you know, run smoothly, but the days that truly have me being like, like that was a tough one. Like I get to truly learn how this is all a part of like the bigger plan and a much bigger picture. And important lessons. Like I could have clearly done something different and better where that friend literally would have called me first. Like there's something in my communication that I get to improve. So obviously lessons to be learned, right? But it never makes it any easier. And that's kind of the message that I wanted to come to you guys with today, because I know this has happened to so many of us. Like I know that the hurt from the other person has not been intentional. Like I was able to clear the space with my friend and I basically said like, I am so happy for you. You have no idea. Like I've literally been waiting for this for like months. I'm so excited for you and I'm so sorry to be a buzzkill, but I like literally have to share with you right now how hurt I am simply because you're my best friend. Because I don't get to do that with like every other client, you know, like it happens all the time. It's literally happened to us on the opposite side where we've had a client walk into our open house, write an offer with us, be a week into the process, and then mention that they had a different agent. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I did not realize that you had an agent who had been working with you. Like, because I obviously don't know what I don't know. And so I totally understand when my friend walked into this open house and fell in love with what is, you know, hopefully about to become her dream home. And having an agent tell her something like, you have to use me to write your offer, otherwise you're not going to get accepted. Like, I can totally see how in a scramble and a flurry, like, shit would just happen. And then, you know, before you know it, 12 hours later, you're calling the friend who's been helping you for the last few months, asking for the next steps. Like, I totally get it. I've been on both sides. But again, it never makes this part of it any easier. So what I got to do today was give myself the grace to like cry whenever this is coming up because it really hurts. That's all there, like it just hurts. And I know my friend did not intend to hurt me. And I knew that she literally had every intention of using me. And despite how many texts she can send me with compliments on how amazing I am and how great I would have done at the job, that shit happens, right? So, yeah, it's been a tough day. I'm not going to lie. But this is all part of the process. And similar to in the instances where I have won out and, you know, written an offer for a client and not even realize that they've had an agent, like, it's part of the business and it's part of the entrepreneurial journey. So that's like what I'm getting to learn today. It never makes it any easier. And like, it truly is like not about the money for me. Like I could not give a shit about the commission check. Like I don't care about that. I feel like for me, I just love real estate so much and it's such an exciting, awesome like aspect of somebody's life that that's what's exciting for me. So when I don't get to be, when I'm on like the outside looking in, trying to give as much advice and feedback and guidance as I am able to without being a part of the transaction, it hurts. And so that's, you know, I don't even really have an answer, and I don't think that there is an answer. I think it's just part of like what we get to process when we choose to take on really big goals and really big things that we want to do. As Gary Vee says, like, there's going to be good and there's going to be bad, and it's falling in love with literally every aspect of it. So what I get to fall in love with in this moment is the fact that I get to help my best friend with her home purchase, even though I don't get to be involved in it at all. And it's going to be perfect anyways. So yeah, it happens all the time with clients and, you know, with people who I meet at open houses, but with friends, it just was like, it was just a little bit lower, and it really made me feel shitty. And so I've been on this side of the phone call, helping people guide through this all the time. And yeah, I tell people it doesn't get any easier, and it happens, and it's not about you, it's about them. And it truly is. Like, people just aren't organized, and like, as much as like now my friend wants my feedback and my guidance and my assistance, and I'm obviously going to be here, like, I'm so excited about the house aspect. Like, they're getting a freaking house. It's amazing. But yeah. And honestly, like, something really similar happened when I was leaving my last position, actually. So many of the people that I had worked with and invested a lot of time with purchased and sold homes like very close to when I left the company. And I remember like having to process that out and having to like really cry that out and like recognize that that hurt. And that even though a lot of times we give so much of ourselves, like for me, it's an important lesson, like to know that, to truly have no expectation on the end. I think that's the intention of this video right here. It's coming to me in this moment. Because really, okay, so like my intention with my friend is to truly help her and see the best for her, right? And I think what the beautiful lesson in this is to not have an expectation as to an end result. So my expectation and my end result with this was getting to help her with the home purchase and like being there for every step of the way and like, you know, like being the one to call her when it closed. Like I wanted that and I had an attachment to that. So that to me is what hurts. And it's because of the attachment to that result that it hurts, right? Where in retrospect, and the lesson to be learned here, I think, is truly that if I had just been really giving and intentional with no expectation and truly like give of that unconditionally, there would be no hurt, right? Because I would have, like, the 6 months guiding up to this moment would have just been 6 really gracious months up to this moment. It would have been giving and giving and giving and giving with no expectation of the end result. So that, my friends, is the lesson. That's the powerful lesson right there. I'm so excited to have discovered it literally on camera because it was the same thing and very powerful when I left my last company, realizing that all of the time and the effort and the love that I'd put into something did not equate into the result that I was expecting. And therefore, because I had been expecting it, it was a disappointment. Where had I had no expectations, I would have been better off, I guess, and not felt like I got punched in the gut. So, interesting realizations on Melissa's Musings today, you guys. I would love to know how you've struggled with this in the past, what you've done to break through it. I've honestly cried about it like 5 times today. I've just, like, on one side I am so excited. Like, I legitimately am so excited, and I get to, like, help every step of the process as well. But I think, like, the disconnection and, like, not being able to actually be involved in the transaction and, like, getting to receive the updates from them instead of, like, on the agent front, that's, like, what I'm struggling with today. So I would love to know, those of you in the industry, what you do to console and, like, really work through these wounds. And then for the people who, you know, are just doing other things, who are coaches, who are home inspectors, who, like, how do you deal when, like, literally your best friend calls a different home inspector and you're like, dude, I do this every day and I, like, truly, like, I think what kills me is that, like, I try and, like, quite literally do the best that I can do every single day, like, by every single client. Like, I feel like I truly live in my truth, live in integrity, like, want what's best for every single client, walk away from commissions all day long if it's not in the best interest of my client. Like, I guess it just bums me out when I'm not given the opportunity, you know, to show those clients what I get to do and how awesome I am. But they'll get to experience it on the next house, I'm sure. Thanks, Melissa. She said, off topic, but you look beautiful and I'm loving your hair. This is the product of not doing my hair because I literally read the text while curling this first curl with my curling wand. So envision curling, curling, curling. Ooh, best friend. Text from best friend. So excited. What does it say? I'm so excited to maybe get an update on the house search. Oh no, accepted offer. Cries, doesn't do the rest of hair. That's how my morning went. And then it was time for my open house. So I was like, well, it's all natural today. So I'm glad you guys are liking it. It is very natural, and I am just embracing it. And truly, you know, I don't know. It's been an interesting day. So for those of you watching, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for not judging me. Thank you for tuning in and for contributing. You know, I had a lot of ego conversations around this phone call about how it would make me look weak and look needy. And the thing is, like, again, it's not about the business. Like, I literally don't care if I make a penny. But what's really sad is how many times I get a phone call. Like, especially since my friend right now is totally unrepresented, I know that there's going to be a point in the transaction where she really needs my advice and my feedback. And I'm not going to be able to give it to her because I'm going to have no idea what's going on. So that's what I'm heartbroken about. And that's what is a struggle for those of us on our entrepreneurial journey. Like hearing about the friends that you just so desperately wanted to help and, you know, you don't get to now. So when one door closes, another window opens, and I had a very robust and successful open house, even though only like 3 people walked in. They were home runs, and I made each one worth it. We had great conversations, and I made amazing connections, and yeah, I've learned a lot today. So that's what's happened on Melissa's Musings. Thanks for the love, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of you were watching. Amy, Kara, Sarah, Keith, Lawrence. Thanks, you guys. Loving it. And April, just breathe. I do get to do that. I think what I'm going to do is go meditate, eat myself a little snack, and get back to work. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in and for being enrolled in me and for listening to me and for learning lessons along with me. Your support and the, the support is great, and it's what I often need. And so, yes, I am excited to hear what you guys are struggling with, the clients you maybe have lost in the recent past, some low blows that have been really difficult to deal with, because it's always great to have perspective shifts, and I know this is something we all struggle with. Every single one of us who lives and gives experiences disappointment in some capacity at some point, because I think I discovered we've got that unreasonable and sometimes unrealistic expectation of what we hope ends up happening. So I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. I love you.